It is debate time with tonight's panel. Democratic strategist Isaac Wright and Fox News contributor and author of the brand new book, Speaking for Myself, Sarah Sanders. Good to have both of you with us tonight.
Good to be here.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the things grabbing headlines tonight. We talked about this at the top of the show. Kevin Corke reporting that the White House may take executive action when it comes to coronavirus relief because it didn't get across the finish line. It didn't even get across the starting line really today in the Senate. Democrats stood together, not a single one of them voting to advance this measure. A lot of the media out there said Senate bill stalls. The Hill, though, did say that in its headline, Senate Democrats block GOP relief bill. Sarah, how's it going to play, though, out there in the heartland where you're trying to appeal to voters? Are they going to get the nuance of the back and forth with the parties fighting over this? Or are people just going to be frustrated that they need help and they're not getting it?
I think people are just going to be frustrated, and they have a right to be. Republicans put forth a bill and a legislation today, and Democrats aren't even willing to discuss it. They've called it a non-starter. People need relief. People need help, and Democrats have proven once again that they are unwilling to work with Republicans to actually get something done. They're too busy making this a political issue instead of helping people that really need it. I would love to say that I'm surprised, but I'm not. But I certainly am disappointed that Democrats continue to refuse to actually help people where they need it most.
Here's how the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell put it today.
They don't want to do a deal. They don't want to do a deal before the election because they think somehow that adversely affects their prospects in the election. Well, the American people are not interested in those kinds of excuses.
Isaac, is it political at this point, refusing to move forward on this bill?
Well, I think this is one thing that Sarah and I and Mitch McConnell can all agree on. The American people are suffering and frustrated by politics in Washington. That's holding up the problem. The problem is the short-sightedness of Republicans on the Hill who forget that Democrats already passed a bill. They already passed a relief package 4 months ago that's been waiting on Mitch McConnell and Republicans to do something about it. And instead of taking action and trying to negotiate, 4 months later, they offer a political maneuver that's not a serious plan, that actually takes out things like funding for states and localities for critical essential services that covers things like our police, our firefighters, our EMTs, that strips all of those resources out of the Democratic bill that already passed the House 4 months ago, that strips out funding to extend a full economic benefit for unemployment through January, that strips out funding for things like safe and fair election. This is a short-sighted memory, unfortunately, by politicians in Washington, but voters across the country, people who are hurting right now in this economy and in this crisis, are not going to forget when November comes around.
Well, they may not.